Hi, welcome back to my kitchen. So what does one do with the bananas sitting on the counter that are getting to that point? It's time to make some banana bread. So I have here with me some bananas. I'm going to add some walnuts and chocolate. So 3 ingredients that I love, putting them all together in a delicious quick bread. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is get started by just toasting the walnuts, because I have an oven preheated to 350 degrees and I'm just going to throw these in here for about 5 to 7 minutes. So what I'm going to do first is make the crumb topping. So right now I have all-purpose flour, both a combination of light brown sugar and granulated sugar, and a little bit of salt. Just going to put about a quarter of a teaspoon of salt, put that in there. And now also I'm going to add some cocoa powder because I want a chocolate crumb on this banana nut cake. Now, this is about 4 tablespoons of unsweetened cocoa powder. I'm going to whisk this together right here. And now I'm going to add a stick of melted butter into the crumb. So you're going to see here it's all coming together. See that? Just first incorporate it, but it should all squeeze together. And there you have your crumb. This is going to go into the refrigerator for about 10 minutes. You don't have to, but it's going to help keep the clumps intact when they're baking on top of the cake. Okay. Our walnuts are out of the oven. They're nice and toasted. They smell great. So we're going to put those aside while we make the batter. Okay. So first things first, I'm taking all these bananas. It's about 2, 3, there's 5 of these bananas here. A couple minutes just you want to get it all incorporated nicely. Okay, there we have the mashed bananas. 2 eggs. Now, room temperature is best because you want your ingredients to be a similar temperature because they're going to all mix together better and incorporate. So 2 room temperature eggs. I'm going to whisk this together in here. Okay, so in this batter here, I have about 5 mashed bananas. And then what I did was I added 2 eggs, room temperature eggs. Then I added some Greek yogurt, which you can use sour cream or Greek yogurt. That's going to bring a nice moistness to the bread. After that, I added in both granulated sugar and brown sugar. Brown sugar gives the caramelized chew. White sugar gives a little more of that crisp crunch, which you want a little bit of both. Then I added some vegetable oil. I used corn oil. You could instead use melted butter, slightly cooled. The oil will make it a little more of a moist crumb, so I chose to use the oil, but either one will work. And then a little bit of vanilla extract. And of course, you could use vanilla paste, but just make sure it's pure extract. It will just give a nicer flavor. Okay, I'm going to put this here. And now for the dry ingredients, the flour here, in here, about 2 cups, a teaspoon of baking soda, and then a half a teaspoon of both salt, and a half a teaspoon of both salt and baking powder. And then a nice little addition to this batter, because it is banana nut, is a little bit of cinnamon, about a teaspoon. It's going to impart a nice flavor in here. I'm going to whisk together right here. I'm going to add my dry ingredients to my wet ingredients right there, just like that. I'm going to fold in till it all comes together. Key with working with when you're making cakes, and you want to mix and fully incorporate, but you also don't want to over mix, because that's what can make the cake not as tender, because you're activating the flour and the gluten. Now we're going to add our walnuts and our chocolate chips. And fold it all in. Oh, beautiful. I have a loaf pan that I just sprayed with a little cooking spray. You can just rub a little oil on there, whatever you have. And I'm going to add this to the pan. There you go, there's your batter. now let's go get the crumb. Okay, I'm taking my crumb now, and I'm just kind of with my hands making it, it got a little cool, which is nice, so it makes it malleable. And I'm going to sprinkle it over the top. And I'm gonna want some bigger crumb. And what's there not to like about this? Again, you could do regular crumb, forget the chocolate if you don't want. I mean, that's delicious too, but this just, to me, elevates it if you like your chocolate. There you go, going in the oven. I have my oven at 350 degrees. I'm going to bake it for about 60 to 75 minutes, but I'm going to check it about 45 minutes in just to get a sense of where things at. And I might drop the temperature a little bit because I do have a hotter oven, but I will see how things are going. But definitely a good hour at 350, hour and 15. So we're going to start here and we'll come back when it's done. Okay, so it's been about an hour, actually 45 minutes at 350, then I dropped it to 325 because I have a hot oven for about 15 minutes, and I'm testing it with a cake tester. So I put a cake tester in and it comes out clean, banana nut chocolate chip bread with chocolate crumb topping. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it on the counter here on a cooling rack until it is cool enough to release from the loaf pan and cut it up and taste it. It's been cooling for a while. Look at that. Beautiful. The crispiness of the crunch, the crumb is so nice and thick, crispy and buttery. Let's take a bite. Let's take a cut in and see. I'm using a serrated bread knife. Look at that. See the steam coming out? Look how moist. There you have, you see the chocolate, you see the nuts, the walnuts and the crumb. Break it apart. Okay. This buttery crumb.
All right, you caught me mid-bite here.
Is that?
I smell it. Oh my God. Banana, what?
Nut and banana walnut chocolate chip with a chocolate crumb. You gotta taste the crumb on top.
Oh, thank you. I need milk.
You don't have, you do. You don't have many words for this one.
No, I was not supposed to talk with my mouth full, but that's very good.